Sometimes I wonder, where does time get away to? Today is purlin day. Got the rafters set. Looks like we got 1x6s on top. 1x6s it is. This trash can here. That's my rain gauge. It filled up about half full. A few weeks ago it was about half full. And I noticed something smelling. I never could figure it out. I didn't see anything dead anywhere. Anyway, I happened to look in that rain barrel, just gonna move it or something, dump it out. And there was 2 dead possums in there. Now here's the strange thing. About a week or so later, I come back and those possums were gone. I don't know, I reckon, what do you think ate those possums? That, like I say, it was about half full of water, 2 dead possums. Come back a week later, it's still about half full of water, but the possums have been eaten. What in the world? Let me know what you think. I don't know. I mean, I have no idea. I mean, we do have coyotes in this area, and there are foxes, but fox is not big enough to get in. A coyote would be, but I don't. Maybe a buzzard flew down, landed on the rim, reached down in there, got him a meal, and flew off. Now what I'm going to attempt to do is put my bottom run on, but before I put it on is find where my layout is, mark my layout on these boards. A lot of these rafters are twisted. As I work my way up, I should be able to straighten the rafters out. Now for the 1 or 2 of you that might not know what I'm talking about, let me show you what I'm going to do. All right, my purlins are going, or the goal is anyway, they'll be flush with the end of that first rafter right there. So if I come over, and this one says 16 3/8 from the outside to this side right here, all right, and then from that mark to the next rafter is 24 inches, and all of the other rafters will be setting ahead 24 inches. Let's go over here to the board and I'll show you what I'm talking about. So I'll square this end off. That's the outside edge of the first rafter. So if I come over 16 3/8, right there is where the first rafter is going to set. Now, I know that the layout is on 2-foot centers. If I go 2 feet, right there, put me a crow's foot. 2 feet, put me a crow's foot. 2 feet, 2 feet, 2 feet. Now, I don't have 2 feet more there. Let me bring you down here and show you something. Okay, so I've gone 2 feet and I come right here. Well, I set ahead, but there's nothing there. The rafter is right here. All right, so my rafters are 2 inches wide. So if I come over 1 inch, all right, then I'll be able to nail this board. Let me get this tape out of the way. And right here's where I'm gonna cut it. Okay, so I'll be able to screw a nail right here. And the next board, pretending this is the next board, it will come and butt right here, and I would be able to do it right there because I've got another. See, the rafter's gonna sit right there. And if you watched the rafter video when I was laying this off, these purlins have already been marked as to where I want them to go on the rafter. I'm putting them on 2-foot centers. You would, of course, put them wherever you want them. And then also here at the bottom, I've got a mark 4 inches up on the rafter. So this board is going to stick out past the rafter 2 inches, or approximately 2 inches. If everything's as it should be, now this one's twisted, and to make it straight, I need to pull it over. Let me get something, I'll be right back. I'm running into something here that, you know, you normally don't have this issue as much, but with poplar, yeah, it's an issue. Now this one here is twisted, leaning over that way, almost 3/4 of an inch. What I've cut me here, and I know they make a tool that you can put on there, but I've cut a piece of oak, and it's longer than it needs to be. If I just drive that in, I've got it down against the plate over there, and I have pushed that over to where I need it to be. Now what I'm doing here, some people may call optional on a barn or a shed, but if you do it 3 or 4 rows, then you're gonna have your rafters straight and you won't have to do it anymore. But if you don't do it, then well, you're gonna have crooked rafters. They'll still hold, still do the job, but I'm not a fan of crooked rafters. I'm gonna try to get them straight as I can. Now something I do, right or wrong, could be wrong, is right here at this point of the heel, that's where I take all of my measurements from. On this next board, what I've done, all right, I went 2 feet, set ahead, 2 feet, set ahead. Let's see. 2 feet, set ahead, 2 feet, set ahead, 2 feet, set ahead. And then, this is on the last one here, I measured from this spot right here to the outside. And this rafter is not set on 2-foot centers, so I measured from here to here and from here to here. Let me take you over here and show you that. All right, so that one's in the middle of the first one. 2 foot set ahead, 2 foot set ahead, 2 foot set ahead. And then this one is not on 2-foot center, so I had to measure it and marked it. And right there is the cut. I cut that right there, and that should be the end of my outside rafter. I'm telling you guys, if you can get started off right, your purlins are going to just go like wildfire once you get going. But if you don't start off right, it's going to be more work on you. So if we got everything as it should be, that ought to be flush with that outside end. And I will show you, you probably already know this, but this one needs to go out 1/8 of an inch at the top. Something you can do, sometimes it works. Just screw your little board on there and just push it where you want it. And there you go. And I'm going to get this middle purlin on. It's laid out identical to the bottom run. But this here is what you're sort of looking for. That looks pretty nice. Now I won't set the 10 by that board. I'll set the 10 by a string. But you know, that's just sort of what you're looking for. So let me show you what I got here. I've gone ahead and run this one down the middle here. It's on the same layout as that one. Now I think I'm going to go ahead and run the top one and then fill in the middle. I believe that's the plan, but it's subject to change. Well, just in my humble opinion, this is a better halftime show than at the Super Bowl. We got the top run, one by down through here. Got a middle run and got a bottom run. I hadn't looked to see how many runs is left, but I don't think there's but 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I was wrong. 5 more runs. But because we got the rafters, and I'm going to tell you, if you've ever worked with poplar, you know what I'm talking about here. Getting them straight. But I've got them pretty straight. That outside rafter looks really good. And here's the thing, let me throw this out. This is I guess you'd call this a pro tip, I don't know. You're not building, if you're building a barn or a shed or something to that effect, okay? You're not building kitchen cabinets. And there's going to be some variances, some things that are less than perfect. You know, when I worked in a cabinet shop, cabinet didn't leave the shop if it wasn't perfect. As perfect as human could do. But in this, you know, you try to do the best you can. You're working with rough sawed lumber. You're working with, you know, larger unit size. And so don't beat yourself up. And I'm preaching to the choir here. Don't beat yourself up if everything's not absolutely 100% perfect. Now somebody might ask, and it's a valid, very good question, can't you use 1x4 for your stripping or your purlins? Absolutely. And if you're having to go to the box store to buy stuff, definitely I'd use 1x4s. But I got these 1x6s, they was on top. They didn't cost me nothing except a little bit of gas in the mill. So that's what I'm using. Plus, it's not gonna hurt anything for the kid to be walking on 1x6s instead of 1x4s. Now I've already started. Let me bring you in here and show you what I've already done here. I've already stepped off that one, that one, and that one. So they're breaking, the joints will be at different places running up through here. And that's what you want to do. You don't want to break all your purlins at the same place. Just makes it, you know, a bit stronger. Just a little pro tip, when you're screwing or nailing, if you look at the grain of your wood, the darker part's harder, the lighter part is not as hard. So if you're putting screws in, if you can put them in the lighter part. Now, will it hold as well? Yeah, absolutely, it will. Just makes it easier to start your screws. I'm sure you already knew that. Sometimes. Alrighty. Now I will come along in between each of these and put a strip down through there, because if you've ever noticed where tin blows off a roof, it lifts up from the edge or the bottom end or the top end, and I like to make it as bulletproof as possible. Good Lord can take off anything he wants, but as bulletproof as possible. So I'll put a strip in between each of these purlins down through here so I can screw all the way up the edge. Does that make sense? I'll be doing that in a minute. I'll be doing that before I put the tin on. I'm not going to do it today because I gotta get up tools. We got snow coming. Let me bring you in here so you can get a bird's eye view. This is the roof with the purlins on it. I believe that thing's ready for metal. What do you think? Now, somebody may ask, well, how many 2x6s did you use? You may remember that stack that was on these sawbucks. This is all that's left. Got a few scrap pieces there, a few scrap pieces there. So there's 3 boards left. So if you want to know how many purlins it took for a, well, from tip to tip, you're looking at 15 feet. From tip to tip, you're looking at approximately 33 feet, we'll call it. But if you go back to the stack and pause it, you can count them. I'm not going to do that, but if you want to, you can, and then you'll know how many purlins it took. Thank the Lord for the woodland mills where I just milled my own lumber. Hey, we'll be getting 10 on next time. That's exciting. I'm gonna pull that baby in the dry. Hey, I appreciate it. Listen, friend, I'll see you in the next one.